Peace squad, welcome back to this tutorial. Okay, so in part one, we went through in detail the category table. All right, in the next videos, I'm not going to go through every single field in detail, but I'll just go on a high level how we've represented them. All right, so we have the marketer field, and that's meant to represent our actual marketer. All right, so some of the fields we have are like the image, as you guys can see here, to help represent this. We have a name, a slug, a category, an hourly wage, a bio short. So for example, how at first on our detail or in our list view, there's only like a little snippet. So many different ways you could represent that. You could do that on the client side or the server side. Either way, we're going to have a short description. The full description is what we saw when we actually go to the detail view. And here's, for example, this would be like the full description. So that's how that would be represented. We have the service area. In his case, this would be Houston, Texas. Service Houston, Texas. Is background checked, the number of employees, etc. So what we've done is represent each one of the fields here. And if you guys want to get this notebook, just see the description in the bio. All right. If you guys want to get this spreadsheet. All right. So we did the same thing. So we had a marketer achievement. So how there's badges here. What we did was set like Boolean variables. That's one thing I wanted to call out. So you guys probably in most cases would have seen these be like foreign keys. Like all of this may have been like on the marketer table. And you might have like marketer achievement, for example. And this is like a one-to-many field where you could just have a lot of different entries of like a marketer's achievement. Now, in my personal experience, when you are first like loading your database, right? Like when you're going from raw data, like the first version of your database, it is so much easier, guys. Like when you just like kind of have like more of a flattened database where it's just like a lot of Boolean fields, and you guys are going to see this in the structure as I go forward. But just in my personal experience, when you have like the super duper strict like database structure in the beginning, when you're still like modeling and trying to figure out the final like ETL process, it could just get tricky. So off my rant. All right, so those are the fields. So then you have the marketer choice, service, which is, if I drop down right here, so marketer service types. So how we have the different service types. So this is, again, this could have been like in a future iteration of this database. What we might have is like a marketer's like service, and again have a one-to-many field where we just add like the different services that a marketer has. But again, like when you are first loading this database, it's going to be a lot easier if you just are, if the agency does provide that service, then just making it true, and if they don't, making it false. So that's what we've done. So for all the different fields that they have, so creative services, analytics services, operational services, strategic, counseling, what we've done is just made these Boolean fields like true, false. And even when it comes to like querying the database, creating the views and stuff like that, it's just at this point in the development stage, like it's just a lot easier to just make these Boolean fields. So that's what we've done. Again, you will probably see this in a future iteration, like a final database, this actually be just like a one-to-many field on the marketer. But for now, this is how we're representing this. All right, so very similar to marketers marketing type. So if we go back to the Thumbtack, how there's different marketing types. So you have like advertising. Now this one can get a little crazy. Now this is one where in the future iteration, like the marketing types will actually be its own table, and this will actually be a one to to many relationship. But for the purposes again of this, these are just like Boolean fields. So like offers flyer distribution, offers advertising, offers branding services, just so that like even if you think about like on the front end of this, just like the data transformation, if you have a form and it just says pretty much like how here, where you just like check this if you offer this, and you can offer as many or as few of these as you want to, and you restrict the list by having like the specific ones that you offer. Think about how much easier it's going to be when you get ready to load this, right? So if this is checked, like I don't have to go through like that extra like let me like match this to this. Like no, like if this is checked then it's true, otherwise it's false. It's just gonna be easier when you're first starting out. So that's what we did for the marketing types. It's very similar to marketing industry. Again, this one is another one where like you can begin to have a whole lot of like columns, because each one of these are actually going to be columns. So I wouldn't go too crazy. Like for example, with industry, I would also make this its own table in a future iteration, and then just make these a one to many type of relationship. But again, for the purposes of my first kind of like development database, where I'm really just trying to get my data loaded, I'm really just trying to get my client like using this as quickly as possible and in an efficient manner to where we can like load smoothly. This is the structure that we're going with. So just like how there is a industries here, we basically have just Boolean fields of like is healthcare, is IT. So if this marketer actually offers that service, then it'll be true. Otherwise, it'll be false. And I wanted to point out last time, the default is false. That way, like when you're first like loading this is gonna make loading so much easier. If you make the default false, you could always go ahead and load the data and then come back later on and always get input from the marketer. And okay, method of pay, that was from this section right here. Again, like same cadence, just did a lot of Boolean fields versus I guess platforms. And then this choice field, it's not quite that. Okay, marketer project. So this is this part right here. So if I go into a project, I'm not gonna go into too much details. I believe I covered that in the previous video, but this is how we would represent this. Some of these fields are gonna look familiar. So if we go back to our database, all right, so we have the marketing agency, we have the title, the job type, the location, the cost, the duration measure, the year, the description, and then the images, right? So you see how there's like four of these. So that's why there's like four different ones. And then year, duration, you see how this is 4 weeks. So for duration, that's the reason why like it could be 4 weeks, it could be 4 months, and you could like drive yourself crazy with like how to represent this. So I figured the smartest way to do this is to just have duration be a number and it be whatever it is. And then the duration measure, that could just be up to you. So you could put weeks here, you could put months here, you could put days, you could put minutes, totally up to you. And then it's just so much easier to represent in the database. All right, so that's how we are representing that. Okay, for our reviews. So the reviews are for this section. So in a future iteration of the database, we're going to actually give reviewers its own table. This is definitely going to be a foreign key, but for this one, to keep it very simple, so again, we can like quickly get up and running, what we've done is just made these string fields on here. So we got the marketing agency per usual. So the actual rating, right? So if we were going to, so like the actual rating, so the fact that he has like, this is a summary of the reviews. What we're really looking at right now is an instance, like one of these reviews. So for example, how this is a 5-star review, that record would be like 5 stars. So the rater's name, in that case, David O. So that would be the rater's name. The title, does he have a title? I don't think he has a title. So either way, we made that optional anyways, right? Yeah, it's not required. So the review date, so like for example, the review date is like for in January 23rd, 2021. So that's what we go there. So reviewer is verified user. The comments would be like what they actually left, right? Is verified user. That might be something like if we did it, it'd probably be like a little badge there. Hired platform. Okay, you guys see how it says that this reviewer would like this job was actually completed on Thumbtack. So that's pretty much why I have that there. And right now I'm making it a string field. Like this could easily have been a choice field, but with this one, unlike how social media, like how I don't expect that to change that frequently, like there are so many different platforms out there that you could possibly have gotten a review from, that for this specific iteration, I'm just going to let this be a string. And over time, what I'm going to do is just analyze my data and see if there are like reoccurring platforms to where it's worthwhile for me to make this a choice field. All right. So the marketer project. So you see how like they are referencing the job that he actually did for them. So this is not going to be required, but this is going to be a situation where you can refer to an actual job. So this person is leaving a review for the marketer, and this marketer did an actual marketing job for them. So you'll be able to like actually see the marketing job and the review they're referring to. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, created that, update that, and is active. The reviewer reply. So this is meant to basically represent this. So you see how this person left a review and then this marketer like replied. So to represent this on our database, basically we have again we have the marketing agency, and then we're going to have the review. So this review is actually referring to like a review that just got left, right? We just stored that in the database, so we're pulling that one. And then we have the person's reply, which is the actual, so what he actually said. So thank you. We're right here when you're ready to get started. So that's the actual reply, right? So that's what the reply would be. You have the reply date. They didn't show that, but I know a lot of platforms like replying to a review, and when you do it definitely matters. Created at, updated at, and whether this is active. So it could be a situation where for whatever reason the review is just no longer active, you don't want to show up. And our last one, guys, so our frequently asked questions. So that's something at the bottom. This is going to be kind of similar to the reviewer. So like where we're going to look at an instance of like one of the frequently asked questions, and all together you have a frequently asked question section. So let's look at this. So we have, obviously, again, you always have the marketer ID. So the prompt. So in this situation, that prompt would be like, what should the customer know about your pricing? You see how you can kind of be like, you can allow them to be as unique as possible as they want. So this is going to be some string, the answer. So them like answering this whole thing. So that's definitely going to be a text. So when they created it, if they updated it, and again, if this frequently asked is active or not. All right. So guys, this is now you officially have a Google Sheets pseudo database that represents how you could store data in for a digital marketing directory. You have ways now to store all this information, right? And now that we can store all this information, we're gonna like actually in the next video, we're actually going to load the database. So all we've done at this point is just create the structure of the database. We haven't actually put any data in the database. So that's what we're gonna do in the next video. We're going to put data in the database, but we're still going to use this Google Sheet. And then in the future iteration, we'll move over to like Python classes and dictionaries. We'll go through a SQLite database, and then finally we'll make it to Postgre. And then in a future video, we'll go into REST APIs. All right, this was an action-packed one. I hope you guys truly enjoyed this video. If you did, please like this video so that more people can find it. And be sure to subscribe if you enjoy this content. We're always releasing new content. All right, make sure you share it with a friend that you feel would benefit from this video. All right, I will see you in the next tutorial. Peace.